Since 2022, over 500,000 tech workers have lost their jobs, marking the highest level of layoffs in over 20 years. Yet headlines continue to paint a picture of national economic prosperity and historical job growth, raising the question, if the economy is thriving, why are companies actually laying off so many tech workers? While the tech industry has taken many forms throughout history, primarily defined by rapid innovation and a sense of limitless possibility, the late 1990s marked a pivotal turning point that shaped the industry we recognize today. During this period, the internet was celebrated as a tool for democratizing information and fostering competition, igniting a race for dominance in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. Fueled by the success of companies like Apple and Microsoft, venture capitalists poured billions of dollars into startups with bold promises to revolutionize entire industries. This wave of speculative investment drove extraordinary market gains. In 1999 alone, shares of Qualcomm surged by over 2,600%, while 12 other NASDAQ stocks climbed by at least 1,000%, while the resulting optimism swept throughout the industry, offering those entering the field the promise of immense opportunity, with stock options, rapid career advancement, and the chance to shape a transformative era. However, while a select few did benefit from IPO windfalls and soaring stock valuations, the majority of tech workers faced the devastating fallout of the bubble's collapse. In a 2019 study by the Griswold Center of Economic Policy Studies, researchers found that tech workers during the boom initially earned 5% higher wages than their peers in other sectors, driven by heightened demand for talent. However, those affected by widespread layoffs experienced a 6% decline in lifetime earnings compared to workers in more stable fields, struggling to ever rebuild their careers, with many never able to fully recover. This historic setback not only underscored individual hardship, but set the foundation for systemic workforce challenges we face today.
If you work for an organization that's pivoting heavily towards AI and you've been laid off, there may be a stigma, a belief by recruiters and HR leaders and even regular business leaders that you don't have what it takes to participate in the new economy.
As the global economy emerged from the aftermath of the Great Recession, historically low interest rates and abundant capital created fertile ground for surviving tech giants to consolidate power and expand aggressively. Companies like Apple, Amazon, and Google capitalized on these conditions, leveraging strategic acquisitions and their market dominance to reshape the digital economy. With many smaller competitors eliminated during the dot-com crash, these firms faced little opposition as they redefined the trajectory of the tech industry, whereby in 2013, economists began referring to these companies as big tech. And during this period, a societal narrative took hold that positioned technology as the foundation for economic opportunity. Campaigns urging individuals to learn to code dominated career advice, promoting the belief that programming skills were the key to a stable, high-paying career. The idea resonated in an economy eager for recovery, where working for tech giants like Google and Apple became a cultural aspiration, offering not only competitive compensation and cutting-edge work environments, but also the prestige of contributing to the future of technology. However, beneath the optimism surrounding the tech industry, an increasingly centralized power structure was emerging. A cornerstone of this dominance was the unprecedented access to vast amounts of user and employee data. Companies like Google and Meta leveraged their massive data repositories as powerful tools for maintaining control. These data reserves enabled them to determine who could access critical resources, giving them significant influence over the competitive dynamics of the industry. For example, documents disclosed during the litigation against Facebook in 2015 highlighted how the company selectively shared data with allies while restricting access for potential competitors, effectively stifling innovation and illustrating how data became a weapon for shaping the industry in their favor. In addition to leveraging vast amounts of user data, big tech has employed acquisitions to neutralize competition and consolidate market power. While high-profile buyouts have attracted scrutiny from regulatory bodies like the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice, these companies often engage in subtler tactics to maintain dominance. By investing in promising startups, tech giants such as Amazon and Microsoft secure board positions, allowing them to influence the direction of these emerging companies. This practice, known as co-opting disruption, effectively steers potential rivals away from innovative pursuits that could challenge incumbents, thereby preserving the status quo. Between 2006 and 2021, Google has acquired over 230 companies, including significant players like YouTube and Fitbit. And Amazon's expansion through acquisition is just as equally significant, having invested in over 128 companies across various sectors over the past 2 decades, leading an entire industry at the mercy of the most dominant players. As big tech's influence solidified, the global crisis of 2020 further entrenched their dominance, with remote work, online education, and e-commerce becoming the backbone of daily life. Tech companies stepped in to enable a seamless transition into a virtual world, resulting in a significant demand for talented tech workers, betting on a permanent shift in consumer and business behavior. However, as demand receded, along with an increase in interest rates, the tech industry's rapid expansion revealed substantial structural instabilities, and by 2022, tech firms shed over 164,000 jobs, a number that surged to a historic 262,000 workers in 2023, with leaders such as Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft leading the layoffs. Simultaneously, tech leaders began embracing leaner operations as a long-term strategy. Elon Musk's decision to reduce Twitter's workforce by 80% while maintaining functionality became a stark example of this shift. His drastic measures, though polarizing, signaled to other companies that significant reductions in headcount could yield cost savings without compromising operational effectiveness. And big tech's reliance on cost-cutting strategies extends far beyond headline layoffs, with outsourcing and automation serving as a pivotal tool for maintaining profitability. With 66% of US companies outsourcing at least one department, and in 2023 alone, IT outsourcing accounted for $132 billion in spending, driven by the offloading of roles like software development, data management, and cybersecurity to these external providers, where projections suggest that the IT outsourcing market will reach $812 billion by 2029, illustrating its integral role in corporate strategies that prioritize cost efficiency over domestic workforce investment. Automation, particularly through artificial intelligence, has added another layer of disruption to the labor market. Studies from Pew Research Center and Goldman Sachs indicate that AI tools, including large language models like ChatGPT, could impact tasks in 20 to 25% of occupations while assisting in 80% of American jobs. Research from OpenAI further highlights that these tools could perform tasks across 86 professions with high accuracy, particularly those involving repetitive or structured work. Companies such as Dropbox, Google, and IBM have already leveraged AI to streamline operations, with a recent survey revealing that 78% of hiring managers anticipate significant reductions in entry-level positions due to AI, creating a precarious landscape for younger workers sold on the promise that simply learning to code would establish fruitful careers in the tech sector. For Amazon, consolidating market power is paired with an aggressive workforce strategy that views high turnover as a feature rather than a flaw. Jeff Bezos has long championed policies aiming at maintaining peak productivity by encouraging attrition among long-term employees, believing workers grow complacent over time. Amazon's Focus program embodies this philosophy, subjecting underperforming employees to grueling performance benchmarks, often leading to resignations or terminations. This relentless pressure drives Amazon's staggering turnover rate of 150%, which the company leverages as a cost control measure as frequent departures reduce eligibility for raises and seniority benefits, artificially keeping labor costs low. Compounding these challenges are return to office mandates, which many companies use as covert workforce reduction strategies. Amazon has now demanded a full return into the office despite evidence of sustained productivity during remote operations, promoting resignations among employees unable or unwilling to comply. Similarly, firms like AT&T and Dell have used relocation demands and abrupt compliance deadlines to trim their workforce without resorting to formal layoffs, once again reinforcing how big tech increasingly prioritizes efficiency and cost-cutting measures over fostering workforce stability or innovation. And as we begin to conclude, I really just wanted to articulate in the best of my ability the fact that the tech industry, specifically big tech, has been hiding behind the illusion of innovation for the past 2 decades. If you are going to work in a financial sector, you need to cross your T's and dot your I's and still pray that whatever it is that you're doing is going to get approved, because the financial sector is so incredibly regulated. And the result, and that comes as a result of all of the greedy and manipulative business practices that they have done that has caused the recessions and the depressions that the United States has faced. In many ways, the tech industry has done similar things. And how many times are we going to hear about Facebook buying and selling user and employee data without any repercussions? I mean, yeah, they have to pay a couple $2 billion fee, but for them, they are making so much more than the fee they're having to pay. I know that this is deviating off the theme a bit, but we have to begin raising the concern that the tech industry is dominated by monopolies. You are not going to be able to be a tech startup with a fair opportunity in the sense of a capitalistic system to create something that could compete against something that has billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of cash reserves. You just are not going to be able to have enough capital, especially in an economy like we're in today. This whole video was inspired by my best friend that just let me know that his company that was doing well just laid off their best employees, and he got moved down to part-time. Why? Who knows? The company was doing well, but they're able to do so. And largely the fact is because they're small and they just can't compete with these large companies. And these large companies will kind of squeeze every last drop, and they'll buy them and they'll take their technology and discard the workers. And it continues to happen. And I just want to say that, yes, this is a bit bleak. And I apologize if I'm like spreading fear. That is not my goal. I do think that this is a concern that we need to address. I think if we're going to talk about solutions, the only way that we can make a collaborative solution is if we actually could come together and we could use our consumer dollars as the initial vote against the decisions that they're making. I think that that could make enough of a headline news for the regulatory figures to realize, okay, I have to step in and actually do something. That is going to take a lot more. For you, what do I think that you could do if you're in the tech sector, if you're thinking about going into it, if you just got laid off? Statistically speaking, just like what happened during the dot-com bubble, it's very hard for you to find another job once you're laid off in the tech industry. There's talking about right now people that got laid off, it's taking about 4 to 6 months to find a job. That is a super long time. In my opinion, a lot of that is a result of an economy that is doing much worse than headlines make it appear, and a labor market that's doing far, far, far worse than headlines make it appear. I've made tons of videos about that. But also that the platforms that are supposed to assist in helping you get a job are corrupt and are awful. I've made a video about LinkedIn. I highly suggest you watching it if you haven't already. The reason that I mention that is I think the best way for you to be able to escape out of what is happening right now is to network in person. Since I made that LinkedIn video, I've been able to speak to some of the most amazing people that have reached out. Blake, a viewer here from Austin, took me to get coffee, a wonderful conversation with him, someone that had been a founder for a startup. I also joined a men's group. I'm just truly realizing the immense impact that personal networking can do. Get away from these other things that are supposed to help you. Try to find what can you do in terms of a one-on-one collaboration or some sort of personal networking. I also would really debate on if you're thinking I need to go back to school or I need to go do more of these things. I would maybe just consider, well, what are other alternatives? And is this an industry that I think will do well in the future? When I look at, say, the stock market in itself, I am very concerned with how these tech companies' valuations just continue to go up. I think that AI is not as... I think it's being blown way out of proportion. I don't think that it is producing results for the valuation it's given. And I also think it's an excuse for companies to lay off people or to not hire people because I don't think AI is ready to be able to replace people's jobs yet. And I think that from the conversations I've had with many people in the tech industry, that is what they're finding also. This is my opinion. Maybe you have something different, and I would love to hear about that. I hope this video was able to provide some sort of value. I am a little bit out of my wheelhouse with the tech conversation. However, I do know a lot about the financial industry, and I think that there is some sort of mirror happening there. Again, I hope I was able to provide some value, just trying to further the discussion just a little bit. Thank you all so much for your time. Until next time, bye-bye.
Is it true that you can leap over a chair from a standing position?
It depends on the size of the chair. I'll cheat a little bit.
Yes!
I didn't realize it was Happy Hopping Moron Day.